Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Professor Oleander, and bringing to you something that everybody has pretty much gotten the jump on is Run 8 V2. I I've tried making this video like 4 times, and Shadow Play failed me the first 3 times, and then the fourth time um, was just me trying to do stuff that was just whatever. Um, but yeah, been a while. Uh, Figured I had a day off, so I would do a quick video on V3, which took everybody by surprise. Has a It has a number of changes, a lot of updates, some stuff that's still kind of the same, but they have a good base to work from now, including you can renumber locomotives within the sim. You can go up here and renumber them like this, or with the number wheel. You can't input the numbers, which is kind of a gripe. I can't put any kind of numbers in. So basically, to get these numbers, I had to go into the XML file, find the locomotive, and then put the number in that way, just so I didn't have to scroll through like 3,000 numbers. One of the things that they added was you can actually set up a file that uh, you can change the numbers for locomotives when they spawn in. So like you can set a range for them so they'll work within that range instead of what's in the sim right now. So let's get away from these locomotives before people start asking questions. Um, as you can tell, the game is different. It looks different, looks better. The weather looks different. I'm sure that they're going to update on this because the clouds are kind of sparse right now. It's not typically realistic, but that's just something they've never really focused so much on the eye candy as much as they do on the actual um, simulation side of things. Another thing that changed is no more F1 menus. Everything is done from a drop down menu up here. In addition to the number thing, one of the things that I would like to see, and this is because of when you bring up uh, your little readouts up here at the top, the problem that I have is anytime you've got your mouse up here out of the way, it brings down the menu, and you also lose your information. So, yeah. So that's what I would. The thing that I would suggest would be either, you know, move the readout somewhere else, or make it where we could go back to the old F menus, which is probably not doable. But that's one of my little annoyances. Like when I do videos and I'm trying to point something out, and then it's like, oh, well, it keeps coming up in the menu there. Um, the performance of the game is a lot better. As you can see, I'm running at a solid 60 FPS, and I can do this. And, it might drop down to 59, 58. That's a lot better than it was doing before. I haven't changed any of the hardware on my game or on my computer. Um, let's actually do this. So you can change everything from here now. Let's put this at dark, because that's typically whenever I had the worst because of the lights. So yeah, you can see there's no significant drop in frame rate. The other thing that they added was I'll synchronize the time here. You can see that there is actually snow on the ground. The temperature is 28 degrees Fahrenheit, and if we go over to the weather control, because they've done a new weather system, we can bring up some precipitation, which is new to version 3. And give it a second. While that's going on, let's go down here and show off something else that got added. Let's take this train right there and delete. And we're going to spawn in another train. Let's see. Give me some locomotives. Give me 2 of these. And a couple boxcars. Pick a car, any car. And we're going to place these like right there. So as you can see, it is snowing. And when I take this train right here, I'll show you what else it does. So accumulation on windows, snow, or rain. I don't know why my flashlight's on. Um, You bother me. I don't know. There's just something creepy about every time I look over there. Anyway, um, so yeah, you get the precipitation on the windshields, which can only mean one thing. Look at there. The windshield wipers finally work. So this is one of the other quality of life things that I would like to see at some point. So right now you have to cycle through all of these, and it takes up your messages up here. There's 4 settings. So like if I turn them on, I can't do Shift V because that just brings up my other display up here. You just have to cycle through all of it until you get to off. So that's something that would be nice if they would change it. The other thing that they've added is you can control some, and it's still a little bit finicky. You can grab some of the controls and move them. I'm just doing this with the mouse. It's still a little bit finicky. You don't grab it out here like you would think. You have to grab it very close in. And I can't remember if I ever got the automatic to work. Yeah, the automatic works as well. You cannot, it won't let you go into emergency. You still have to use the left control backspace to get to that. Bell works. Sander. You can't turn off the lead sanding. You can grab your the throttle and the reverser. That's why I got all these levers right there. These warnings. You can grab the reverser and you can swing it back and forth. Same thing with the throttle. If you can grab it. I don't think I ever managed to do this successfully. It's a bit wonky. Yeah, I don't think the... Oh, there it goes. So you have to grab it like here. So, there you go. You don't grab the handle. That's why I say it's sort of counterintuitive. You grab it where your indication would be, so like right here. And you can do it that way. It's not perfect. Same thing as before, you can turn your headlights on. You have to cycle through all of them. Cab heater still does not work. They changed some stuff with the EOT, and I'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But for right now, oh, that's right, because I was holding onto this train. I was like, wait a minute, that's not the train that I was on. Let's go back over here. I'll show you something else that they added. So AI it got a big update in this one, and this was something that I was not expecting. Let's go over here to the Hump controller, and which one is Control F6? Let's tag some cars. We'll do SDG, STO, and FRS. How about that? So same as before. Let's see, what did we say? SDG. Now these are still case sensitive. SDG, STO. Let's do an LAC, a BAK. Oops. BAK. That's fine. Let's do 2 more SDGs. How about that? Alright, so that's done. To do this, they added where the AI can now run cars over the hump. And so we're going to call this one the Barstow. Not Bartso. Barstow Hump. And check our tags. And they're good. While we're here, I'll show you a something else that they worked on. They've reworked the spring physics. So I'll take the whole train here and you can see it a lot better. You can make the cars, you can do air ride suspension on all your cars. You can just go, get up, get down, get up, get down, get up, get down. So it's really kind of weird. And I didn't check this earlier, so let me see if we can do a refuel on these locomotives and see how that works. You can't take fuel away. Oh, you got to be stopped. No, that's new. You must be stopped next to a servicing area. It used to be you could refuel these things wherever. Now, now you've got to be next to a servicing area. So that's interesting. Oh, that was something else that got added. I'm glad I looked there. These do not have it. Damn it. Okay, I'll look on one of the other locomotives. They added class lights, so you can change your class lights if you wanna run with them. But for right now, let's give this to the AI and let them start up. Now you notice up here you get an indication. It says the 3097 has been recrewed by AI for humping. You can stop laughing at any moment. It's not funny. So yeah, I was not expecting this at all in this game. Kind of had hoped for it, but yeah, you can assign the AI to work the hump, and they will run the cars over the hump. And when they're done, they'll send up a message and say they're done humping the train. Okay, after the third time, it's not funny. But yeah, they'll sit there and they'll work it, and it works just like normal. So it's a quality of life thing for people that don't want to play on multiplayer servers, or if there's not a lot of people on the multiplayer servers, so that you can function. We'll talk about the AI dispatching here in a little bit, but yes, I mean, like I said, this was not something that I was expecting because, you know, who would have thought about the AI being able to do it? But yeah, they'll sit here and they'll run them over until they run out, and then they'll send you a message, and so they're done, and that's the end of it. These are some of the cars that I was playing around with earlier that it sorted out. What else can we talk about? The weather system actually looks good. You notice that it stopped snowing, but it's still, well, there it goes again. There is somewhat of the weather can be a little finicky, and I don't know if it's polling data from weather stations or what. But I know that I did a save file one night, and the weather was one way, and then I reopened it and the weather was completely different. So I don't know what was going on there, or if it auto saved or something like that. But yeah, it's a bit weird. You can hear the retarders working. That was another thing that got redone. Is the air system? The not the air system. The sound system got redone. They're using Fmod, and so everything sounds better, way better. So as you can see, everything is going where it's supposed to go. And then these two cars right here are going to get sent together, and all will be right with the world. And that sounds like that's getting ready to be the cut. And there you go. And as soon as they get stopped, they're done humping. Okay, just stop. So we'll go ahead and set that for them to relinquish. And they're going to be done. And then, you know, it's so nice that to have the AI do this, because it's going to make life a lot easier, especially whenever you get into dispatcher. And not quite there yet. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about, and we'll take this this job here because it's already running, so that way I don't have to wait for something else. Let's see. Is that line open? Yeah. All right. So let's go back here. We'll talk about, they changed a lot of the physics, and I'm going to do this from the ground so that way you can actually see it. Trying to remember if we have a chase camera set up. Probably not. That is one of the camera things, and it may be in the game, I have to go back and look, is I do wish that they would, because right now if you want to chase your train, you kind of have to go outside, and this is something else I'll show you. They did change this, where when you pick your head out the window, it sounds like you're outside. Another thing that they changed is you can now open the windows. Now you cannot open the windows from the other side while you're on this side of the cab. However, let me cycle through the seats. If we're sitting on the other side of the cab, we can open them. So there's that. But yeah, before you had to get out here and pick a spot. So I wish they really would come up with a chase camera. But for right now, because I know what I'm gonna do, because I want to show off something. Let's see. Nope. Which one am I looking for? That one. And let off the independent. And forward, notch 8. So I want to show you some of the physics that they've got now, because these engines really get to rocking and rolling. So derailments are possible. You have the possibility of derailing by picking a switch. Oh yeah. You see that rocking and rolling there? This is gonna hurt. It never gets old. So yeah, you can derail. You have a chance to derail by going through a switch. You also can derail from taking curves too fast. You can stringline curves, like if you go too fast through a curve with something like a center beam or something like that. You can derail that way. And I know down in here this is going to derail, so I'm just going to get into position. This thing's really gonna go to rocking and rolling here in a second. Oh yeah, that is essence of what's the name of that movie? Unstoppable. And so it went into emergency because when you derail, my experience so far has been when you derail, it separates your air hoses. So we'll go ahead and close these. You hear that noise? That tick, 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 tick. That's the air compressors, so that's a sound that they added. And you can see we are clearly on the ground. So let's put the thing in emergency so that way it can go ahead and reset the PCS. And we'll put it in neutral. So that is something that these do not do now, that they don't do yet, is when They don't reset into neutral, which I think they were doing before, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go back and check. But I think before they would knock the thing down into neutral if it went into emergency, which is not what, I mean, it will act like it's in neutral, but it won't actually put it in neutral. Sorry, I gotta check an email. I forget what I was talking about. Anyway, oh, neutral, yeah. It won't physically put them into neutral, but they'll act like they're in neutral. So let's see if the PCS is reset. PCS has reset. Do that. Alright, so they put in a re-rail mechanic, and there's two flavors of it. You can do it the easy way or you can do it the hard way. And I actually was kind of impressed that they put in where you can actually put re-railers down, and that's the way we're going to do it. So you click on the truck, and that's right, I'm on the wrong side. I was thinking I'm on this side. So you click on the truck that you want to re-rail, and forward or reverse is relative to the engine, so we want to go in reverse. And it puts on these re-railing frogs. These are butterfly re-railers, and basically they're just, you know, they sit on top of the rail, and the wheel rides up it, and it's got these little strips on there. You hear the unloader, the blow down, release the air off the unloader, and then the compressor stops. So that was cool. Wasn't expecting that either. But these things, you know, the wheel rides up, and then it kicks it over onto the gauge sides. That way it actually re-rails. So kudos to them for doing it, because, like I said, this is something I wasn't really expecting. All right, let's put it in reverse. And let's see if we can put this thing up on the rail. There we go. Alright, second verse is the same as the first. We go back here, put it in reverse, and pull away. And that's it. It's as simple as that. You could do them all at once if you want to. It's always been practice for us, and I've always been taught do them one at a time. You know, re-railing is not the hardest thing in the world. As long as it's close to the railhead, you can get just about anything on the track, either with a re-railer or with a set of blocks. And I've put cars back on the track with blocks. We had a 6-axle car go down on a train that I was moving. We were going over some bad track, and one side fell down in between the gauge, and I had two guys that had never had a car derail on them before. So they called me because I was in the engine, and they were like, "We're on the ground." And I said, "Okay." And they're like, "Well, what do we do?" And I said, we put it back on the track. Well, how? Let me come back there and show you. So I said, go pick up all the oak blocks that you can find out of the shop. Um, we had some re-railers, but it was just going to be, it was a 6-axle car. We didn't have enough. And I was like, just go get blocks, because we had a bunch of blocks. I said, go get all the oak blocks you can find. I said, put them over there. And so I came back, and I showed him. I said, put them here, here, and here. And I said, I'm going to go up. We're going to pull back. And I said, go until you, I said, don't let it come off the wood, because we didn't have enough blocks to get it all the way. I said, we're going to get it up, we're going to stop, and then we're going to move the blocks again. So that's what we did. Go back there and got it blocked up, pulled it back, stopped, went back, repositioned the block to just make a bridge to go over to the rail. And luckily, the other side of the truck stayed on. And got it blocked again, pulled back, went on the rail, pulled 10 more feet, and the other side dropped. And so they're like, well, I guess we got to do it again. And I said, same thing, just block it up. And I said, we'll pull it out so we can get towards good rail. And it took all of 30 minutes to put the car back on the track. I mean, it literally took all of 30 minutes. I think it actually took longer to go round up all the blocks than it did to actually put the car back on the track. So re-railing is not the end of the world. Unless you have like a major derailment where you tear up the track. In our case, it was just the gauge spread. We were going through bad track. We had a heavy car. We had been through there with that car in the past a couple times. And that day, it just said, nope, we're not going to do it today. And it just spread open enough, and down it went. So, yeah, it can be the bane of your existence. All right. Oh, class lights. Let's go back here, because I know this unit's got them. I think this unit's got them. Not this unit. Yes. So class lights. They're off. We can do white ones, we can do green ones, we can do red ones. Red one you're typically going to use for engines that are end of train. The old rule was end of section. Green would be a or white would be a second section, green would be a first section. We're just going to leave them off. Go ahead and relinquish this one because we don't need it anymore. Let's go ahead and talk about the dispatcher. So right now, there are no trains moving. No trains at all. Well, there's one train. These are trains that were already had signals. But you see all the trains down here, save for this NS unit, which that looks like that's going to be an interesting meet. Let's go down here and see what's going on. I can only imagine the conversation going on here. What is that? That's a coal train. Yeah, a coal train and a stack train. There was an NS unit that I'm kind of can't transport the signals yet. But there's an NS unit that I guess they're coming up on them. There it is, right there. Well, that's not it. Tulsa to Barstow. I think I went the wrong direction. Maybe there's 3 trains in there. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen that many trains stacked up in there before. So anyway, let's turn the dispatcher on. Let's go back. Let's go back here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the dispatcher on. And what he's going to do is he's going to go through all the dispatcher screens. He's going to see where all the trains are, what their tags are, and he's going to read the destination tags. And he's going to say, okay, this guy's got to go that way, and he's already given signals. So this train's going to get a medium approach, and they're going to go straight. And most likely what he's going to do is, once this train goes by, he's going to cross this one over behind him. Because there's another train waiting. Actually, that train's going that way. So he's going to cross this train down. Looks like. That train's just going to have to wait. This train's going to be sitting here for a bit. And he just gave this guy a signal. So Jason from High Rail Simulations did a video on this, and I was kind of struggling with it because it wasn't the most intuitive thing in the world, but now it makes sense. So they can take you, like if you're destined for Barstow, it knows roughly where to put you. If you're working in industry or or whatever, if you've got an industry tag, it knows where you need to go for the most part. So if you're working the Edison local, it knows it needs to send you up, or if it's got cars that are bound for Edison, it knows to send you up to Bakersfield. If you've got cars for something like Newberry or whatever, then it knows that you got to go to Barstow. Same thing like Chicago, RIC, LAC, stuff like that, stuff that's not in the game. It knows which locations you need to be headed towards. So it takes all of that into account. So there you see the dispatcher board is turning green. So it's lining up everything. The Mojave sub is really busy right now. And it lines up everybody pretty much the way they need to go. So now that I've got dispatcher mode enabled, I'm going to turn on the symbols so I can see what all everybody is. So yeah, it's been interesting watching this work. So what else is moving? I hate how F4 and F3 are the same. You can actually tone the dispatcher. As a matter of fact, let me go get a train. Well, I'm gonna pick one of these trains here, one that's ready to go. So bar I'm not gonna take. If I got an outbound, I don't think I got any outbounds. Let's make an outbound. Let's just put one in the north departure yard. So we need to put on this end. It's just easier. So give me a train. So let's make one. Let's do something different. Give me a couple of freight locomotives. Actually, give me this guy. And then give me a Western Pacific, why not? And then I'll just throw some random freight cars on here. Yeah, here we go. Portable derails. That's what we'll do. We'll just take some of these. Alright, put that on there. So this is the new unit that's in the game. They're doing -8s now. It's actually not a bad unit. It's a GE, so meh. Go ahead and start all these up. I'll go ahead and do all this mess too. There we go. Western Pacific, the Feather River route. Same thing with the center beams too. We'll go ahead and load them up as well. It never gets old seeing these things bouncing up and down. They reworked physics, and they reworked the air brake, so you can get air brake failures in addition to derailments and whatnot. You can slide wheels, you can get wheel slip from the locomotives. I mean, it's just they put a lot of work into this and whatnot. So let's see. We want to go towards Bakersfield, so I'm just going to tag the thing, because the only thing that matters for tagging is I'm just going to make this a manifest train. Manifest, and it's going to be BAR BAK -31. And all that matters is the destination tag. All it's going to read is Bakersfield. It knows where I'm supposed to go. It can see me right here. Okay, so this is important whenever you're asking for signals. It has to be able to see you on the dispatcher board, because that's where it's looking. So like if you're working Bakersfield, for instance, let's go to Bakersfield. The Bakersfield yard is not on the board. So it can't see you. And what it'll do is it'll say you need to get up to a CTC block where it can actually see you on the screen. So just to go over some of the legends on here, I don't remember all of them. A red block is an occupied block. Green is basically the path. That is a set path. Pink means that there's either a manual switch thrown or there is track authority set up. And this is where I got confused whenever I was doing trying to get AI dispatcher to work, because there's, and I'll show you. You can tone up the dispatcher through here, or you can actually go onto the radio, tone the tower, and then the dispatcher will respond. So let's just tone him, and that way you can see the menu. And just like in real life, it may take them a second to get back with you. And there you go, answering BNSF Barstow Tower. So you can request yard departure, you can request a signal, or you can request or relinquish mainline authority. Now, I was thinking you get your mainline authority, that's sort of like getting a track warrant or something like that. Well, it's not how it's set up in this game. Really, what you're going to do is you're going to request your signal. You're going to go out into a block. You're going to request your signal. And then it's going to set your path up based off of your tags. The only time that you're going to request mainline authority is if you're going to do switching. So if you're working a local and you're going to have the main line, you're going to request the mainline authority, which basically they'll route all the trains around you. Nobody can occupy that block other than you. So I'm going to leave that for right now. And I'll go over here for a second. So the pink blocks are either somebody is holding mainline authority, or there is a manual switch that's thrown. So it's going to be down this line. And not that one. So if you go down this way and there's not a manual switch, there it is right there. That clears up the block. So let's go back to Bakersfield, or not Bakersfield. Let's go back here. So what I want to do is, let's get in the cab. Turn on the windshield wipers. Where's my radio? Do I even have a radio? Oh, there it is. I was gonna say, what the hell? So, what is the radio frequency for here? Barstow is channel 32, tone 13. It already changed it for us. So DTMF 13. And there's the tone. So we're going to request departure from yard. And let's see what he says. 10-4. So we wait for a minute. There's our green. There's the signal. He's thrown the switch for us, and off we go. Proceed on signal indication. Oops, gotta put it forward. That. So they changed the HOTs. So you saw how it said we're moving forward, or it'll say COM OK. Emergency enabled means that the emergency portion, the emergency dump valve for the EOT is working, meaning it's got air pressure. Air pressure reading is the same. The counter, the distance counter for the hot is working. The HVM is the flasher on the rear. That's working. You can get, if you have a battery powered, whoops, not that one. Not that one either. That one. If you get a, you can get the air turbine EOT, or you can get the battery powered one. So you have a chance to get a low battery indication. So a lot of cool stuff that they've added to it. The thing with DPUs as well, if you're running realistic DPUs, which you can change up here, all your realism stuff is right here. If you're running realistic DPU, the radio DPUs on the rear, there's a lag time between whenever you increase the throttle and decrease the throttle. It might take a couple of seconds. Same thing with fencing. If you're trying to increase the throttle or decrease the throttle, it shows what you are set as, where you're set, and then it shows you what your rear DPUs are doing. So we'll go up here just a bit. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. So this is going to send us up Cajon, so I'm wondering if it's going to send us up Seligman. If rather than send us up the mountain, San Bernardino, Yuma. Yeah, I'm wondering if it's just going to send us all the way through West Colton and then up the mountain from there. And it may not do it right at all, but I do know it's not perfect. We should be getting train over speed. Let's see. Yep, we got a little bit of an overspeed. This doesn't have the MFD screens either, but it does have an accelerometer, which is that guy right there. It's been a while since I've seen one of these actually in a simulator, or I've actually messed with one in a simulator, I should say. I think I can't remember if one of the engines in Train Sim World had it or not. I do know that it was. I remember when I first got Train Simulator, like back Train Simulator version 1, way back, in like 2000 or whatever it was. They had -9s, which had this sort of similar setup, but it had the screens. We can turn these guys off now. But yeah, this has been it's been interesting to see. I'm not sure why it didn't run us up that way, so I'm actually kind of curious. And it may be because I don't have the right train symbols. I know that it recognizes, it has a database, and it's in an XML file of what trains it can see. And if you give it one that it does not recognize, then it'll basically route you as best it can. So from what I'm seeing, it's going to send us to CP Hodge, and basically make us go through Cajon, and it's either going to send us up through Palmdale, which I don't think is going to happen, or it's going to just run us all the way to wherever. There's X and Y. Let's see. It's going to be up here somewhere. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've messed with this. X and Y. Where does X and Y come out? Yeah. Anyway, so it could be that I just didn't, that it doesn't recognize that symbol and it couldn't come up with a path that sends me to Bakersfield. It's not perfect. It is vastly better than it was. So, you know, we don't have to sit here and dispatch ourselves anymore. I know it's a big improvement for me because, like, whenever I'm playing, I usually have to keep external dispatcher open on the other screen just so trains don't get backed up. So now, you know, now all these trains are running and I don't even have to worry about them. Like, it's sending them more or less where they have to go. The alerter's getting ready to go back off. So there's your alerter flasher. The other thing is they changed AI trains during night, especially, will more than likely dim their headlights, but not always. Let's see what this sounds like. So yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the new update. They got pretty ambitious with this one, so it's really been kind of nice to see. I wasn't expecting them to do a -8, to be right honest, but you know, I guess. We were actually talking about this the other day. I don't know anywhere that's still running -8s. I know NS pretty much got rid of all of theirs. And they might have a couple of -9s still floating around. But they're such an old unit. Somebody was telling me there is a railroad that's bringing a lot of their -9s out of retirement just because they have a shortage of power, which is, it's really hard to believe considering how many locomotives are in mothballs across the country now. Oh, one other thing that I will mention is they put a grade indicator. You can see that we're going downhill and we're actually charting over speed. So go ahead and set up dynamics. There was the slack. Let's see if we can hear it roll back out. I'll let you. I'll get down. So they did a. They did a pretty good rework on sounds. So it's all been good stuff so far from what I've seen. What are we doing? Where are we at? Alright, it's showing us overspeeding. Yeah, if we're purple on the dispatcher screen, that means we're overspeeding. So anyway, that's about all I can say on Run 8 for right now. Probably will run some trains here and do a couple videos on that. Go ahead and delete that train. There is one thing that I will show, and this is more for the devs, should they happen to be watching. It's going to be this locomotive right here. So, let me see if I can, well, it's going to have to be another seat. Okay. There is one bug that I have found, and it's not going to do it on this locomotive. One of these engines, which one is this? Let me see if I can replicate it then, while I'm thinking about it. So, freight locomotives, it is one of the 44s. It's one of these two, and I think it was this one. So let me place this train somewhere. Alright, you get up inside. Because I literally just did it, and it may have just been a glitch. The window didn't work right, so I went to open the window. Yeah, it's this one. There's a texture that's a holdover, so you see you open up the window there, and then this little piece stays. So that's really been the only bug. Matter of fact, let me turn the tags off, and I'll take a screenshot. Is it? Oops, F8. There you go. Take a screenshot for them, and I'll post that on the forums. That's the only real bug that I have found, and it's just a minor thing. So anyway, V3, it's worth it. They added a lot of stuff. It's only going to get better from there. That's really all I have to say about it. So I'll see you in the next video.